eMigr8 Open Day. This edition is around getting started with eMigr8 Tech Talent Visa. This edition is to help you understand who we are as eMigr8. We'll be having our open consultation session, actually called now open coaching session. During this edition, it means that you can ask the coaches questions. We'll also be talking about one of the projects that we're working on at the moment within the eMigr8 community, which is the eMigr8 2023 eMigr8 Visa Tech Visa Landscape. We're working on that report at the moment, and we'll be talking a bit about that during this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. In addition, we would also be giving an opportunity to members of our community to interact with us, to ask questions, to give feedback around any aspect of tech-enabled visa opportunities that you may be interested in. We'll touch a little bit around countries of focus and some of the visa opportunities that you should be looking at as a tech talent from different countries of the world. Whether you're a beginner in the field of technology, you're at the intermediate level, or you're an expert in the field of technology, there are different tech-enabled visa opportunities available from many countries of the world. We'll be exploring some of them. We'll be talking about some of those visa opportunities. We'll be able to answer questions. There are visa opportunities around your skill. There are visa opportunities because of your startup. There are visa opportunities because of your talent, and there are opportunities around digital nomads and freelancers as well. Several different opportunities are available from many countries of the world, from the UK, from Canada, from France, from Australia, and so on. And we will talk generally about these visa opportunities today. Today's edition is not going to be focused on any one particular visa opportunity. Instead, today's edition would be around exploring the different opportunities available from all over the world. And then you are able to ask questions. You can let us know what you are interested in. And then from time, as much as possible, the coach, the facilitators, and members of our community will be able to answer the questions, will be able to give insight, will be able to give feedback, and so on during this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. So I would just say welcome. Thank you for joining us at this edition. And for those of us watching the replay video after, thank you for watching the replay video as well. I would also say that if you wait till the end of this session, we have a gift for you. And so we ask you to please endeavor to watch this video or stay to this session till the very end. And those of us with us live at this moment, we ask that please ask questions. We would love to answer as many as possible. We would love to be able to ensure that this session is tailored to your own specific need. We would love to make sure that we are meeting everyone as much as possible, answering as many questions as possible. Welcome to this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. This edition's theme is getting started with eMigr8 Tech Talent Visa. And we'll be speaking generally around the tech-enabled visa pathway landscape. What should you be looking out for as a tech expert, or even if you're a newbie, an absolute beginner in the field of technology, what should you be looking out for as well? Because there are visa opportunities available for even an absolute beginner in the field of technology. There are many more opportunities available at the intermediate and the advanced level. And this is what we are speaking about today. And this is what we speak about generally on the eMigr8 platform. eMigr8 focuses on tech-enabled visa opportunity for relocation and settlements. We focus on multiple countries of the world, the UK, the US, Canada, France, Germany, a bunch of countries in Europe, and so on. We focus on these countries because they are forward-looking countries of the world that have made different visa opportunities available, particularly for tech talents. eMigr8 focuses 100% as at this moment on tech opportunities and opportunities available for people in the field of technology. So welcome once again for those joining us for this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. For this edition, we'll start with just a bit of introduction, just talking about who we are at eMigr8, what we do, what we are not. We'll speak a bit about that. Then once we've gone through that, we will then focus on today's session, which is around the tech talent visa and talking about getting started with eMigr8 Tech Talent Visa. What are some of the resources available to you? What are some of the things that we feel like you should be aware of? What are some of the items that we feel like we can be helpful with on this platform? That would be our focus for today. And a bunch of other items are available that we will touch on as well. As I said earlier, if you wait till the end, we do have a gift for you as well. And we will touch on many other items as listed on this screen. Welcome. I would say that eMigr8 Open Day happens at least once a month at this point, and we have a number of replay videos that are available that we feel like you should take advantage of. Today's edition is general in nature. We are not focusing on any one visa opportunity today. What we are doing today is we're focusing on the entire landscape. We're speaking to everybody, entire landscape of different visa opportunities available. That's our focus for today's edition. But we'll let you know and have you know that we have done other open days in the past. Many of these replay videos are available and they are free of charge to members of our community. These replay videos touches on different opportunities and different visa options, like the Australia Global Talent Visa, the UK Global Talent Visa. We've done many sessions focused on these visa opportunity, the UK Startup Visa, which is now called the UK Innovator Founder Visa, the US01 Visa, the EB1 Visa in the US as well, German Blue Card Visa. Several replay videos are available where different coaches have drilled down 1 hour, 1.5 hours, telling you a lot of details on that specific visa opportunity. We encourage you to take a look, find those videos, particularly those around the visa opportunity of your choice, the visa opportunity that you are interested in. We encourage you to take a look and take advantage of this video. We'll speak a bit about the 2023 eMigr8 Tech Visa Landscape. It's a report that we are launching on the eMigr8 platform to our community to help the community as well. We will talk about that during this edition of eMigr8. Our next edition and many editions to come, we will be focusing on different visa opportunities. So please watch out for editions that will focus on the UK Innovator Founder route. Watch out for editions that will focus on the UK Global Talent Visa route. Watch out for editions that will focus on move to the US as a global talent, focusing on the US 01 and EB1, EB2 routes. We also have editions coming up focusing on the Canada Startup Visa, and then sessions focusing on the French Tech Visa as well. We'll spend a bit of time just explaining what we do and who we are at eMigr8. eMigr8, we say at eMigr8 that what we do is we help you become globally attractive. That is our focus on the eMigr8 platform. Yes, we talk about visa opportunities from all over the world, But our belief system is that those visas themselves, they are a side effect of a bigger objective. We believe that if you are globally attractive, you would have options. You would have options of staying in your home jurisdiction, your home economy, and then contributing globally to multiple countries all over the world, working remotely, working even in your local ecosystem. You would also have options of, oh, if I want to move to any one of the countries that I mentioned earlier, I can also do so because every one of those countries wants you in their jurisdiction. They are not doing you a favor to make these visa opportunities available to you. I'll say that again. The different countries of the world are not doing you a favor by making the visa opportunities that we talk about, by making them available to you. They are not. The reason why these visa opportunities exist is because they see that they can get something from you. They want you to come to their economy with your talent, with your skills, with your degrees, with everything that you have as a professional, because they know you will build their economy. They know that you will create jobs and employment in their jurisdiction. They know that because you're an expatriate in your trade, there are many other supporting roles that would be employed because you are working in that jurisdiction. And so at the end of the day, you are actually contributing. You are bringing your innovation, you are paying high taxes and so on in their economy. You are not a burden to their system. You are adding to their economy, to their system. And that's the reason why they've made these visa opportunities available. Recently, you will find ministers in Canada talking about some of the visa opportunities they've made available for you to move to Canada, because if you are globally attractive, you will find the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom talking about different visa opportunity, the high potential visa, the innovator founder visa, and so on, to ask you to move to their economy. They are not doing you a favor. They want you there if you can add value to their economy. And that's where we come in as eMigr8. We help you become globally attractive. There are two ways we do that. It's either with your tech-enabled profile or your tech-enabled business. Your tech-enabled profile as an expert, or maybe even an intermediate level person, or even if you're a beginner, you are growing to become globally attractive. So your tech-enabled profile or your tech-enabled business, which typically would be your startup. And so that's what we do at eMigr8 to help you become globally attractive, so you have those options to move to any one of the jurisdictions that I've mentioned. And many more that are also forward-looking, that are creating visa opportunities at the moment to attract you as a talent, to attract you as a skilled person in the field of digital technology. In practice, our services cover things like information sessions, something like this session you're attending today or you're watching the video after. Sessions around general inquiry. We'll be having our open coaching session today where you can come on stage, you can ask questions, and we can answer to the best of our ability. We also have coaching and handholding as a service for you as an individual exploring these pathways. We help with preliminary assessment of your qualification status. We help with building a roadmap. You will find us talking a lot about the fact that you should have a roadmap when we talk about some of these visa opportunities. It can be self-directed. You can actually do some things yourself. You can do your own research and so on. Self-directed roadmap, we can help with building that roadmap. But then if you want handholding as well to help you take the work, handholding with other coaches that have taken that pathway before, this is available on the eMigr8 platform. For example, with the UK Global Talent Visa, we can help with reviewing your UK Global Talent Visa application before you submit. We can help with the endorsement review process to say, oh, I applied, I feel like I qualified, but I did not get endorsed. I got rejected. Why was I rejected? And we can give feedback to you that would be helpful in your next application or in your appeal or endorsement review process if you are taking that route as well. Talk to us, and it gets better because we run a freemium model. Most of the things that we do for free. I'll say that again. Most of the things that we do on the eMigr8 platform, we actually do for free. However, it's a freemium model, which means that we also charge a premium for some services as well. On the free side of eMigr8 platform and on the free side of eMigr8 services, you would find our information and inspiration sessions. Something like this session you're on right now. You will find our eMigr8 community. We've got an active community on multiple social media platforms. We've got an active community on WhatsApp. That's the best community at the moment. But we've got communities on Telegram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and so on as well that you can join. These communities are free. You can ask questions, you can make comments, you can interact with other people that are interested in these pathways. We run monthly open days that helps you get as much information as possible as regards the different visa opportunities and options. We've got introductory videos that would be very useful. We've got eMigr8 open coaching session. We would have that today. And then we've got visa specific office hours, where during the office hour, it's a private session, but not one-to-one. Private session where, and it's not recorded, where you can actually ask questions focused on a specific visa opportunity. Finally, we've got our short inquiry one-to-one session with a coach as well, which is available on the free side. It's limited, however, to just one free session per individual. What we ask that you do is that please take advantage of all the other services that are available for free before you come for the one-to-one session. The reason why that is important is because don't go to that one-to-one session to ask questions that you could have just Googled or you could have attended an open day to get answers to. Go to that one-to-one session to get answers to items that would be private to you, but will be the best use of the coach's time as well. A number of coaches on the platform are volunteering their time because they are interested in helping. They are interested in guiding. They're interested in handholding. And so spend the time before you do that, the short inquiry session, and then you can book that when it is that you feel like you're ready. You know what it is you're looking for. You've already used as much information on the public domain as possible. You have Googled the visa route. You have studied all the information around that route, and you have done your own research. You have attended open days around that and tech-enabled visa routes. And then when you now have questions, because you will likely have questions that is now unique to you about your own unique circumstance, about the things that is important to your own circumstance, because there's a lot of information. And sometimes the fact that there's a lot of information, you may be looking for a coach to help you streamline the information, for example. Those are the ways that the short inquiry session would be most helpful for you as an individual, but also most beneficial and the best use of time for the coach who is volunteering their time so that they can help as much as possible. On the premium side, these are paid services now. We've got the eMigr8 Circle, which is our premium community. We've got the personalized coaching. We've got standard eMigr8 standard package. We've got our premium services and a number of others as well on the premium side of eMigr8's platform. If you're interested in any of these services, what you simply have to do is go to bincom.net/eMigr8, go to bincom.net/eMigr8, and then you can start your journey of getting and becoming globally attractive. There's a lot more that we typically talk about, but because today's session, we are actually drilling down into eMigr8 platform, we're going to be talking about some of those services. we're going to be talking about how you can use some of those services during today's edition. We will stop here for a moment, and then we would continue with the next section as regards the eMigr8 Open Day today. For those just joining us, this is eMigr8 Open Day. eMigr8 is a platform that focuses on tech-enabled visa opportunities for relocation and settlement. What eMigr8 does is to help you become globally attractive. And we do that by using our freemium model, which is a combination of free services and premium services, to help you target different visa opportunities available from different countries of the world. What we've explained is that for many of these visa opportunities, the countries of the world are not doing you a favor. The reason why the visa opportunities are existing is because they want you to move to their economy with your talent. And so welcome to this platform, and we're looking forward to being able to be beneficial to you as an individual or beneficial to you as a member of your team. Today, we will talk a bit about the visa landscape. And so when we come back, we're just going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk a bit around the tech-enabled visa landscape. And then we would have an opportunity for the open consultation, open coaching session. We would have opportunity for that where you can actually drop your questions in the chat, and then we'll be able to answer to the best of our ability. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. Don't forget that you will forget the question if you do not drop them in the chat and you do not take a look and put down the question, jot them down, so that way you can get the most out of this session today. We would speak a bit around some of the services of our sister company, Income Dev Center, soon, but I wanted to jump straight into the 2023 eMigr8 Tech Visa landscape. And then we will speak a bit around how you can get started with eMigr8. The 2023 Tech Visa landscape is a report that we're currently working on within the eMigr8 platform. It's a report that we're working on to compile a lot of information that we've seen members of our community ask questions on. A number of people that have been eMigr8 successes, and a number of people that are currently on the journey of becoming globally attractive. They've asked questions, they've been curious about different things, and what we've tried to do is compile that into something that will be useful for the industry and that will be useful for the community at large. And so if you're interested in that visa landscape, you can join the waiting list on the URL on the screen. I believe my colleagues will drop the link also in the chat and in the comment section for those of us watching the replay. You can join the waiting list for you to be able to get access to these reports. But this is what we will say, and just in terms of explaining what the landscape looks like and some of the sections of what we are talking about and some of the things that will be useful to you immediately. Is the fact that there are different tech-enabled visa opportunities from the different countries of the world. And these different countries of the world, what they do is that they are looking for people individuals to move to their economy. But then to a large extent, when we talk about tech visas, tech-enabled visas, we will find that a number of those visa opportunities are divided into these 5 major categories. And many countries of the world have different visa opportunities available for each one of these categories. For some of the countries that don't yet have a visa in a particular category, because they see a net migration of value, a net migration of individuals, a net migration of talent to a different jurisdiction, they quickly figure out a way to create a visa opportunity that would bring people to their own jurisdiction. Different visa opportunities would have different restrictions. They would have gates, as we call them, within the eMigr8 community. Some of these gates are easy to get through. Some of them are not as easy to get through. Some of these gates, you could qualify for them without even thinking about it. Some of these gates, you have to plan over a period of time to be able to qualify. Some of these gates are things that even a beginner, even a newbie, you've not done anything at all, you spend just a month or 2 or 3 months, you could qualify. Some of these, you need to have at least 10 years of experience, or you need to earn a certain amount of salary, a high salary within the industry for you to qualify. And it goes on like that. What you need to understand is that if the door was just left open, then everyone will qualify, everyone will migrate. In fact, hope you understand that the whole concept of visas is this century itself. In the 70s, many people from different countries in Africa could actually move to different countries like the US, like the UK. They didn't need to gate people. The reason why the different visa opportunities exist right now is that they need to then make sure that, oh, the people that are going to move, the people they are going to give the visa to will add to their economy, not the other way around. We're not talking about refugee programs and all of that, humanitarian programs that all the different countries have as well. We're not talking about that on the eMigr8 platform. Instead, we're talking about the fact that you are an expat. There are 2 words, immigrants and expatriates. I've asked on this platform before, and I'll ask you to think about it. What is the actual difference? When somebody moves from the UK to Ghana, they call the person an expatriate. When somebody moves from Ghana to the UK, they call the person an immigrant. What is the actual difference? Because what we are saying is that you can move from your home economy as an expatriate to these new economies of the world. But then there are different categories of the visa opportunities, and these different categories are different visas available because of different aspects of your skill, of the value that you would probably bring to the economy. The first category I'll talk about are startups. And so basically, if you're a startup founder, if you are somebody that is running an innovative business or a business at all, but typically when we say startup, we are thinking innovation, we are thinking high velocity, high growth. That's what we are thinking about. Many countries of the world want you to move to their economy. Some examples of visa in that category would be the UK startup visa. There will be the Canada startup visa. For many of these opportunities I'm talking about, you can Google them. So, and there are information about them. You can note them down. You can Google them. There is a lot of information in public domain about many of these visa opportunities. So everything we're talking about is in public domain. What eMigr8 is doing for you is bringing all this information to one place that can help you make an informed judgment about what you should be doing right now as an individual for yourself and for your career and maybe for your family. So startups, UK startup visa, Canada startup visa, there's the French tech visa for entrepreneurs, for example. And all of these visa opportunities, they have one thing in common. They want you to move your company. It's a no-brainer because when you move your company, as your company grows, you will employ people. And so that helps them reduce their unemployment rates within that economy. As your company grows, you will pay taxes and different types of taxes, right? You will pay income tax, value-added tax, and so on. And that is money for that economy. Don't forget that, generally speaking, governments have no business doing business. Government has no business doing business, right? There is an anti-pattern there because a number of governments do business, but really what government is there for is to be able to make an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. And so if you're thinking capitalism, that's part of what you should be thinking about. And so if you have an idea, if you have an innovation, if you're already building a startup, you should take a look to say, oh, okay, are there different jurisdictions where my startup is better and may thrive better? We don't think you should focus just on the visa. We don't think we should focus just on, oh, this visa is available, and so because I want to move, that's it. We think you should focus on, oh, in addition to the visa, which is an enabling environment in itself, what kind of investment can I get? What kind of access to market can I get? What kind of growth will my startup have? What kind of resources are available in that jurisdiction for my startup to grow? What is the cost of that resource? Would I find a co-founder if I don't already have one? Stuff like that. But yeah, I mentioned a number of visa opportunities. UK start, it's no longer called the startup visa in the UK. The UK one is now called the Innovator Founder Visa, right? So it's no longer called startup visa. It used to be called startup visa up until April 2023. That visa is now called the UK Innovator Founder Visa. And what has happened is that they've collapsed two visa types, startup visa and innovator visa, to become something called the UK Innovator Founder Visa. We have an open day for many of the visa opportunities I mentioned. Canada startup visa is something else you can take a look at along those lines as well. The next category I will talk about are visa opportunities that just has to do with the fact that you are a talented individual. Now, when I say talented individual, right, sometimes what people are thinking about is, oh, I've won the Nobel Prize, right? Or, oh, you've won the Emmys. No. At different levels, you can be considered a talent. And some of the visa opportunities in that category would be the UK Global Talent Visa, the US O1 visa, and then maybe the EB1 visa, but you may say the EP1 visa is more employment-based, but it's somewhere in the middle of the two, right? Australian Global Talent Visa also exists, right? And the Australian Global Talent Visa, you could also say, oh, maybe it's a bit more around the work-based one. But here's the point, is that there are different visa opportunities available because you are just a talent. For many of these opportunities, you don't have to have gotten a job anywhere for you to qualify for that visa opportunity. All you need is to be able to show that, see my profile, see who I am as an individual, because I'm this type of individual, and the country will have given the guideline to say this is the type of person we are looking for. Because I qualify based on this category that you've said to me, then I qualify to move to your economy. The countries are saying, we will take a risk on you. Don't worry, come even if you don't have a job. Come even if nobody has employed you already. Go to our economy, go to this economy, and then you can look for a job. You can do anything that you want to do. For many of those visas, please check specific, check the specific for each visa. I'm just talking generally. Every visa has their own specific rules. For many of these visas, you can do anything that you want to do in that country based on the visa, because they trust that, oh, this type of person will create value whether it is because they get a job or whether they start something else or they start a bunch of businesses or so on, they will create value. And they will look at things like, oh, what has this person done before in their own economy? With the UK Global Talent Visa, they will ask you to show things like, oh, you're a leading talent in the field of technology. You need to show that you are a leading talent in the field of technology. You need to show that you have innovation, impact, recognition in your industry, in your local economy now. You need to show things like that for you to qualify under that category. You need to be able to show that, oh, you are earning a high salary, for example, or you appear in newspaper, or you are building the local ecosystem. Different options in terms of what it is, but they are just indicators to say the best predictor of the future is your past performance. The best predictor of the future future performance is past performance. And what they're saying is that let's see what this person has done in the past. Let's see some of those things. And then based on that, an assessor will take a look at you. And if the assessor believes that, oh, this person will add value to this new economy, then let the person come. So the UK Global Talent Visa, the US O1 visa, these are visa opportunities that you should take a look at along this category. UK Global Talent Visa is it's immigrant. The US O1 visa is non-immigrants. Immigrants in the sense that you can move permanently on that visa option, whereas the O1 visa is a temporary visa. You will need to switch visa to something else for you to be able to stay permanently in that jurisdiction, right? There's a visa opportunity as well, the high potential visa opportunity with the UK, the HPI, high potential individual. That's the visa, UK high potential visa. And the index they take a look at is that, did you attend one of these 50 top universities in the world? Because you attended one of those universities in the world, then you can qualify for the visa option. That is also doesn't have settlement. It doesn't have a direct pathway to settlement for that visa option. But yeah, those are some category of visa options that you may want to take a look at from that category. The next category of the visa that we will talk about is the visas that are employment-based. Visa opportunities that are employment-based, and that means that you generally would have gotten work somewhere by a company within that country, and then based on that, you would get access to a visa to move to that jurisdiction. UK skilled worker visa, US H1B1 visa, the German blue card visa, European blue card visa, really, because it's across the Schengen area, right? There's the German work-based visa as well, and there are several of them. What you need to do in that case is that you need to land a role that will be able to sponsor your visas. You need to land a role that will be able to sponsor your visa. And there's a method to that madness as well. You can land that role from your home economy. We have some open days that may be useful. In fact, our next open day is landing a tech role in the UK economy as a UK global talent. That's our next open day. But then we have open days around landing a tech job as a tech talent that gives you some ideas around some of the things you need to do. We have open days around the German blue card visa that gives you ideas of these are sites you need to take a look at. Your CV needs to look in a certain way, for example, right? And the format for CV in the UK is different from format of CV in the US. I'll say that again. The format of CV for UK is different from format of CV in the US. And so there are nuances along those lines. There are tech recruiters that do not earn income until they are able to feed people into roles. There are thousands and hundreds of thousands of roles that are available across the world because they are not able to fill those roles today. Many of these roles are not available for beginners, however. I will mention that at intermediate level, And at an advanced level, some of these roles are available. And because they are available and they have not been able to fill the role with people living in their local economy, they make visas available for you to move to their economy and work in those roles. Several visas: UK skilled worker visa, US H1B1 visa, German blue card visa, and several ones like that as well are available. All over Europe as well, another category are the freelancer stroke digital nomad visas, where they can allow you to move to their economy for a very short period of time, 6 months to 1 year typically. And what they say is that, oh, fine, come live in our economy because you are working remotely, because you are earning money, bring that money into our economy, and then you can do many things within our economy as well. And then there are other categories as well, like investors. So if you have a bit of money, you can actually invest. And because you are investing, you are able to land a visa because you are investing in the field of technology. Now, this category of visas that I've mentioned is not exhaustive. This is just to give you an overview of what the landscape looks like. This is just to give you an overview to say that depending on where you stand, for example, if you're a beginner, you can land the UK Innovator Founder Visa, right? It's startup related, but it's something that you can do as a beginner because all they're asking for you is, oh, you need to have a business plan that is adjudged innovative, scalable, and viable. That's all that they're asking of you. And then, of course, you need to show that you're a genuine founder that is interested in building your startup in that ecosystem. Right. The landscape would give you a detailed overview of some of the visa opportunities that we're talking about. And as I mentioned, for the landscape, you can join our waiting list on the landscape to get a lot more details around these visa opportunities, well researched, well packaged, put together in a way where it is easier for you as an individual to find the information that you are looking for. But yeah, these are some of the visa opportunities. This is not a complete table. But some of the visa opportunities that falls into the different categories that we've mentioned so far during this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Several opportunities, several categories, and it's up to you to say, oh, I'm a beginner. What are the opportunities that I could qualify for? As a beginner, 1 to 2 years in the field, you could qualify for the exceptional promise of the UK Global Talent Visa, but that is based on the fact that you've done a lot of work and you've shown a lot of traction in the kinds of work that you have done over a period of time. Absolute beginner, 1 month to 3 months, you can probably qualify for UK Startup Visa, for example, but the Canada Startup Visa would not be for you. Because the Canada Startup Visa, even though it is startup based, is focused on startups that are already showing traction. To say that, oh, this startup has already gone past the first year, maybe, has already raised significant funding, maybe, has already gotten some key endorsements, maybe, and then you can look at that specific visa opportunity. So as you can see, depending on your status, depending on your unique circumstance, will determine what visa opportunities you should be taking a look at. In addition to that, you may also want to plan over a period of time to say, I've seen the requirements. I don't quite qualify yet for this specific opportunity. What I can do is that I can start planning. I can start planning to say, oh, how don't I qualify? Why don't I qualify for these visa opportunities? Is it because I've not done enough speaking engagements, for example? We've had coaches come on this platform that say, oh, people used to invite me to come speak, to come do stuff, but then I would say no. I will always say no by default. Not knowing that some of those things I'm saying no to are the things that other countries, the assessors in a different country are looking at to say, because you have spoken on such a stage, then you must be the right person. You must be the real deal. And that kind of information, sometimes you may miss it. A number of people have also said that, oh, they were doing things naturally because they enjoy doing them. But because those things are the things that they enjoy doing, it turned out that those kinds of things were the same requirement that the different opportunities were looking out for. If you're looking from a perspective of work and all, then you want to also make sure that your profile is showing as the type of person that is seen as the expert or maybe intermediate level, but skilled in the role that you're looking for. One of the things we would typically say is that in developing economies, they are looking for generalists. They are looking for someone that can do multiple things at the same time. In developed economies, they are looking for specialists. They're looking for you to say, this is one skill that you have, then you can do that skill and you're a specialist in that specific skill. So if you're a product manager, you're a product manager. You don't have to be a developer, graphic artist, service manager, customer service, and then also a project manager. You don't have to be that. What you need to show is that you are an expert project manager. Now, it may be an advantage to say once you've gotten to the second stage, third stage decision level, to say, oh, in addition to all of these other things, one thing that sets me apart from all the other experts that you have interviewed is the fact that I have these other skills. Then yes, that is helpful. What will not be helpful is that you don't want to be showing yourself as jack of all trades and maybe master of none. You don't want that if you are trying to target employment-based visa. Show yourself as skilled in one particular skill and that you are the best person for that role that you are targeting for that particular skill in the jurisdiction that you are targeting. And so there's a lot that we could say about the different visa opportunities, but we're hoping that you would also have questions during today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day. We have opportunity during today's edition for what we call our open coaching session. During this session and during this time, you can come on stage, come on camera, and you are able to ask questions. And based on those questions, we can focus on different aspects of this presentation as necessary. This is a recorded session. It is being live streamed on YouTube. So please do not share information that you don't want on the internet. Please bear that in mind. We do have one-to-one sessions, some that are free, some that are premium, in case you want a one-to-one session. But what this session can do is that if you have a question that you think would be useful to get answers to on this platform, then you can please switch on your camera. We can't spotlight you on Zoom without your camera being on. So you need to have your camera on, and then you can use the hand raise button on Zoom for you to raise your hand. And then based on that, we'll be able to spotlight you, and then we'll be able to interact with you on this platform and answer your questions as much as possible. And so if you're interested, in addition, you can also ask questions in the chat by simply just dropping a message in the chat, and then you can ask your questions, and we would answer as many questions as possible. For those just joining us, welcome to this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. eMigr8 focuses on tech-enabled visa opportunities for relocation and settlement. We help you become globally attractive, and that's what we do at eMigr8. We do that by taking a look at different visa opportunities from all over the world and distilling that into information, inspiration, coaching sessions, and holding, and several other services that we do have within the eMigr8 platform. In addition to the different opportunities that we have, different services that we have on the eMigr8 platform, we also have packages. Now, the way our packages work, separate from some of the services that I've mentioned earlier, the way our packages work is that if you're interested in a particular visa opportunity or a particular type of visa, then you may be interested in the package rather than just a particular service or a particular coaching session. One of the packages that we do have is the move to the UK as a global talent. This focuses on the UK Global Talent Visa, and it's a package that takes and holds you from the beginning to a stage of you being able to move to the UK as a global talent. Move to the UK as an innovator founder, focuses on the UK Innovator Founder Visa. You can also do the move to the US as a global talent. This focuses on the US O1 visa. That's the visa I mentioned that is for individuals with extraordinary ability or achievement. Please don't write yourself off if you haven't won the Nobel Prize, for example. If you take a look and you Google this visa opportunity and you look at the requirements, you'll find out that some of the requirements, you already have them. Particularly if you've been working in tech for a while, you may already have some of these requirements, and then you may already qualify for this visa opportunity, for example, and then we try to help with that. Move in, 2023, and this focuses on just the fact that, oh, you want to move, but you are not sure exactly which country of the world. And then we are able to unload you to say, oh, this is where you qualify for. This is where your best skill is. This is the best part of what you have, because we've assessed your profile. We've assessed your startup. We've assessed all the different things that you have, and we're able to coach you and unload you based on the different options that you do have available as at this moment. Something you should know is that the landscape keeps changing. Canada, for example, announced a number of changes to the landscape, 5 key changes, and we'll talk about that in upcoming open days as well. Talked about a number of key changes to some visas because they are trying to attract more and more and more tech talent. So the landscape keeps changing. So for Canada, the landscape is changing for the better, making it more open for more people to be able to move. But then sometimes the landscape changes for the worse as well. So I mentioned earlier that the UK used to have something called the UK Startup Visa that no longer exists. And it no longer exists because of many reasons. We've explained that on this platform on the previous open day. You can watch the video. But what you should know during this edition is that we used to have a program called Move to the UK in 3 to 6 months, focused on the UK Startup Visa. We can't do that program anymore because the Startup Visa no longer exists. And so there's a better visa because Startup Visa did not have a pathway to settlement. The Innovator Founder Visa that replaced the Startup Visa has a pathway to settlement. But what I'm saying is that the landscape changed for the worse in that case, because a visa that was open to beginners, so you could have used that pathway as a beginner, is no longer open. And what we're saying is that this landscape changes. And so whatever it is that you do quickly. Do quickly is something that we would say. And other packages do exist as well. We have also the eMigr8 community. And within the eMigr8 community, the way it is designed, right? Our WhatsApp community is doing very well. The other communities, we are still building them. We're employing community managers and all. And yeah, we're actually looking for community managers for some of the communities in any case. So if you're interested in managing a community of this nature, you may want to contact us as well. But with every one of the communities, what we've done is that we have coaches in the communities. We have people that have moved based on the different pathways that we are talking about in the community. We have people that we have helped directly within eMigr8 in the community. And then we have others who are interested in this pathway also in the community. And so we're saying that you can interact with each other. You can like, you can share, you can post, you can reshare, you can, and so on. And you can ask questions. You can get answers to questions. You can share resources that you have available as well. We're building a vibrant community of people interested in these pathways. And with those people interested in the pathways, you are able to share ideas. You are able to share information. You're able to inspire each other. In our community during last week, we had 2 successes that came at 3 actually. One didn't declare publicly, but we had 2 successes in the community that came out to say, oh, I got endorsed, and all of this kind of thing. And those things can also be very exciting. You can join the communities on the links on the screen as well. And we encourage you to like, share, comment, engage with us as well, because we are always happy to help. And these communities are free. We do have a paid community, which is a premium community, but we also have these free communities available to you because you are interested in being a part of the eMigr8 community. You are interested in exploring tech-enabled visa opportunities. I would say again that we're coming to the point, we're now at the point of the open coaching session. If you have questions, you can raise your hand on Zoom. You need to have your camera on, and then we can bring you on stage, and we'll bring you on stage for you to ask questions. Please remember that this is a recorded session. Bear that in mind, please, as you ask your questions. So don't share anything that is private information during this time. You can raise your hand on Zoom now, and then we'll be able to spotlight you on Zoom. So if you have questions, if you would like to get on stage, please, you can raise your hand, and then we'll take it from there. For those just joining us, we also ask that you share with us, where are you joining us from? What country of the world are you at the moment? And share with us as well, so we understand our community and where you are. All right, so I'm looking at some of the comments in the chat, and I would read out the question and I'll answer that as well. Somebody said, will you share this recording after the meeting? The answer is yes. This is one of the open recordings that would be available. Many of the recordings are available on our YouTube channel and on our YouTube community. So if you just search for eMigr8, eMigr8 is spelled eMigr with the number 8. If you just do a search for eMigr8, you will find a number of our resources online, and a number of our resources are available for free. And so you can search and you will find the link to the video. You can also ask the community manager for specific videos that you may be interested in. If you also register and indicate interest using the link that I shared earlier, beamcom.net/eMigr8, you would get a mail from us. That mail has a compilation of a number of our resources, a lot of different resources that are free and freely available to you for different pathways. And so you may want to take a look at that as well. And one of the resources that we are launching soon is the 2023 eMigr8 Tech Visa Landscape. It's a report. It's a very detailed report. The first draft I've seen is about 100 pages or so. They are trying to whittle it down now to much less than that. But yeah, the first draft that the team has worked on and that we're working on at the moment is over 100 pages. And eventually the report will soon be out. If you're interested in that report, you can also fill the form and the link on the screen. It's bit.ly. eMigr8 Tech Visa Landscape _waiting list. You can put your details in there. I believe my colleagues will put that on the chat as well. bit.ly eMigr8 Tech Visa Landscape _waiting list. If you are interested in getting access to the report gives a lot more details on some of the items that I've spoken about during this session so far, and some of the items that we'll be looking at within the report are the different countries of the world, the different visa opportunities available, what is the requirement, what is the visa fee, can I move with my family, and several other information along those lines. What category is this asking for? How easy is this really to get? And so on. Those are the kinds of information that you will find in the eMigr8 Tech Visa Landscape, a report that will be launched by the eMigr8 community in the coming weeks. Okay, I'll remind the audience again that if you're interested, you can raise your hand on Zoom, and then we'll be able to spotlight you for you to ask your question live during this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Hand raise feature is one of the reactions under Zoom. So if you find under reactions, you would see raise hand as a feature, and that's what you would need to do for us to be able to spotlight you to come on stage and then interact with myself, who is the coach handling this session today. Next question says, how can I get tech job without working experience? I've written some Python and data science certification, and I've done some data science projects. It is difficult for you to land a tech role. I mean, I'm assuming because we are speaking about tech-enabled visa opportunities, you are talking about tech roles that will give you skilled worker visa. It is very difficult to get those kinds of roles if you are not showing yourself as skilled. And when I say show yourself as skilled, you need to show that you have the skill, you have the experience, and you have the exposure. That's the people that skilled worker visas are generally available to. What that means is that you need to either be at the intermediate level or at the advanced level for you to get access to these visa opportunities. At the intermediate level, there are some opportunities available, but at the advanced expert level, many more opportunities are available, many more. Right. So what you should be doing is that if you're at a newbie, you are just learning, then you want to try and get and become a beginner. If you're already a beginner, what you want to do is that you want to get to become intermediate. How you would do that is that you need to work on real life projects that real life people are using, right? I'll speak a bit about one of the services that we have to help you do that. But before I talk about that and share screen to talk about that, I'll just explain why this is so. Think about it from the perspective of the company. And I guess that company is the company that will give you a visa sponsorship. If they were looking for beginners, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of them. And that beginner will not help them add value, will not help them make money, will not help them create the product that they are trying to create or deliver the service that they are trying to deliver or fill a gap that they are trying to fill. A beginner won't. A beginner will need expert that will teach them. That's not what they are looking for. What the organization is looking for are people that have actually been in the battle. They've done it before. Because the organization is looking that, oh, if you have done it before, then you can do it again. If you've written a solution that 1 million people are using before, then you can write a solution that 1 million people will use again. It's a catch-22, which is that because you don't have experience, you don't get a job, but because you don't get a job, you don't have experience. That's a problem in the industry. Yeah, that is true. But then this is how you can solve that problem. You can volunteer, you can join internships, you can work for free, you can work at a lower salary than what you think that you are worth, and all of those things, so that you can build the right experience, depending on what the opportunities are that are available to you at any point in time. The worst thing that you can do for your career is to be captain local host, which is what you're saying in this question, to say you have done certification. The world doesn't care about certification, I'm sorry to tell you. They don't really. The certification is just an indication that you have learned the theory, which is good. At some level, maybe at beginner, entry level and all of that, the fact that you know the theory, that's fine. But for the organization, what they are really looking for is that, can you do the work? When the push comes to the shove, can you do the work? Do you have the right experience? Or they will have to find people that have the right experience. Then why are they going to hire you in the first place? Why do they need you in the first place if you don't have the right experience and you don't have the right exposure and you don't have the right skill? Certification says that you have the theoretical skill, but then it doesn't tell me about your practical skill. I help organizations interview, so I can tell you a lot more about this as well. It doesn't tell me if you have the right skill, the practical one. It doesn't tell me if you have the right experience. But then I mentioned that I was going to, so hopefully I answered your question. But now I'm going to talk about one of the services that we offer within Bincom Dev Center that could help as well along these lines. Now, the service is called the Bincom Global Tech Program. And what we've done with the Global Tech Program is we've designed a program to solve the problem that you have identified. We've designed a program that helps to say, will help you learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure in the field of technology. The program is 1 to 2 years. The full program is 1 to 2 years. 1 year to 2 years is the full program. We do have a subset that is 3 months. I'll talk about that as well. And what that program does is it takes you through that journey to say, learn the skills, the certification and things like that you mentioned may be involved. Gain the experience, meaning that you're working on real life projects, you're working on real life solutions that you can point at. When you're doing interviews and they're asking you questions, you can talk about those things and then gain exposure as well in the field of technology. The program is useful if you're at beginner level, entry level, you are just starting, you've not even started your journey in tech, or you are just starting. It's a fantastic program for you because you can start from the beginning, from stage 0 of the program. But then if you're at intermediate level and you realize that, oh, I don't have the right experience and the right exposure, this is also a fantastic program for you, because you can start at stage 1 or stage 2 of the program, and then you can move to the next stage, because that's what we are looking at to help you become globally attractive. And it gets better. You can learn tech now and pay later as well. Since I'm already talking about some of our services, I'll just take the opportunity to talk about other services that we do offer within Bincom Dev Center. I'll remind the audience again that if you have questions, you can raise your hand on Zoom, and then we will come to you. There's the emotions under Zoom, and one of those is the raise hand button. If you press that, you'll be able to raise your hand indicating that you want to come on stage, and then we will be able to spotlight you, and you can ask your questions and have an interaction with myself during this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. The next one I will talk about in terms of our service is it's a subset of the Global Tech Program that focuses on you doing a bunch of things within 3 months. This is targeted at people who are already clear on what it is that they are trying to do. So it combines a lot of tech training with tech career coaching, with apprenticeship, with UK company experience and UK company reference. And then other features and benefits as well are put together within a 3 months. So it's a subset of the Global Tech Program that I mentioned, but for a shorter period of time, 3 months. We found a number of people who have moved to the UK as a student, masters and so on, and engaging in this particular program, because after they moved, they realized that, oh, one of the ways which I can land a role is not with my masters, is because you have experience, and that experience is not something you can buy, right? And this program can help you with something like that. A different program, we're asking for mentors to come on board, is our Bincom mentoring platform. We have a number of mentees who are looking for mentors. So if you have many years of experience in the field of tech, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, a member of our audience, and we're asking you to come mentor on the platform. It's a highly competitive mentoring platform. And so we are not able to engage every single person that registers, but the first step is even to register so you can go through the pre-qualification criteria as a mentor. One thing that you will find out is that for you to show yourself as globally attractive, some of the visas I've mentioned, one of the things they ask you for is that, have you mentored anywhere before? Have you mentored on a structured platform? And this platform, the Bincom mentoring platform, is such a structured platform that can become one of your evidence as part of you and your journey to becoming globally attractive. Labs by Bincom is also one of our services. Labs by Bincom helps you to build a product-led digital technology company with a team. How Labs works is that it's a 3 to 6 months program, and we're able to bring you and other like-minded people, 3 to 10 people within each team, for you to have a mission. The key mission is for you to create a startup, but you have to create a startup that real-life users will be using your real-life technology that you built in that startup. It's practical learning experience. It helps you to improve your career. It helps you to build a portfolio as a techie, and you can actually use that also as some level of internship and so on that I mentioned earlier as well. So that's Labs by Bincom. If you're interested, the link is on the screen, bincom.net/labs. The last one I'll talk about, not the least, the last one I'll talk about is our tech career coaching service. With this service, what we do is we help you land your next role faster, particularly roles that comes with certificate of sponsorship. It is focused on the UK at the moment. We're looking at expanding to many more countries as more coaches come on board the tech career coaching service. But for now, we are focused on the UK economy, tech economy in the UK. You'll be able to build the relevant experience in that target economy. We help you with connection with technical recruiters, and then we help you with landing the roles that would come with sponsorship as well. It's tech employment and recruiting services for individuals, and that's one of the services of Bincom Dev Center. eMigr8 is a startup currently being incubated within Bincom Dev Center as well. eMigr8 focuses on tech-enabled visa opportunities, but what I've mentioned are some of the other services that we do have within Bincom Dev Center. I'll remind the audience, if you're interested in coming on, you can by just raising your hand on Zoom, and then we'll be able to spotlight you. And once we spotlight you, you can ask your question live. Somebody is asking, what are the popular tech recruiters I could submit my profile? I'm not sure what country you are talking about, but I'll just answer generally. You can Google it. It's a good start, right? But what you should be targeting is that tech recruiters should be reaching out to you. One of the things I say, you can say it's controversial, but I believe it is very true, is that if tech recruiters are not reaching out to you, particularly on LinkedIn, there's a problem with your profile. It may be with the skills that you are signaling. It may be with the way your CV and your profile, your LinkedIn profile is shaped, but there's a problem with your profile. If you're not getting on a regular basis, tech recruiter saying, I have this role, are you interested? I have this role, are you interested? Something is wrong with your profile. Let's start from there. Right. But then there are many aggregator sites that you should also be taking a look at. And these are sites like LinkedIn is also an aggregation site because it will aggregate many roles. LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Reed, there are a bunch of them. Google itself, if you just put the name of the role that your profile fits into, if you put the name of the role and vacancy, you will see a number of roles that are available. Something I will mention that may be useful to you is that target roles on the day that the vacancy was published. And there's a reason for that. Target the role when it was published, a day, 2 days, 3 days, but if it's much longer than that, sometimes it is too late. There's a reason for that. There's an entire open day that we've done, 1.5 hours focused on this concept, which is called landing a tech job in the UK ecosystem. You can take a look at that open day and it may give you a lot of insight around how you can land a role, particularly roles that would come with sponsorship as well. So hopefully that was helpful, and you can ask more in the community as well. If you're talking about the German ecosystem, that comes to mind as well. We've had a coach speak from a German ecosystem as well, and the coach also mentioned a number of sites where it's German focused, but these are sites that you should also know about if you are targeting Germany as a country to move to as a talent. We do have that resource as well available for free for our community. Another question that I see in the chat is, how can I involve myself at Bincom Data Science, or please, I need it. Okay, so I mentioned the Global Tech Program already, and the Global Tech Program would be useful for that. So the question, I should have read it out first. How can I involve myself at Bincom Data Science or Django projects? Please, I need it. That was the question. And my answer is that I've mentioned and spoke about the Bincom Global Tech Program, and that program would be useful to help with what you've just asked. We'll take a short break again, and then when we come back, we'll be on our final stretch, our final leg of this. Remember, I mentioned that if you wait till the end, we do have a gift for you. And then there are a few other items we mentioned we'll cover during today's edition that we'll be looking at covering within the next 15 minutes before we end the session. So we'll be right back again. We're back. Thank you for joining us. For those just joining us, I think I saw somebody join just now. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. We focus on tech-enabled visa opportunities for relocation and settlement. For this last part, we would, and I will just mention again to the audience in case anybody missed that, if you are interested in coming on to ask us questions, to ask during this edition, it's open. We do have opportunity for the open coaching session during this time. So if you would like to come on, you can do that. we also answered a number of questions in the chat. If you have questions, you can also drop them in the chat and we'll take it from them. I mentioned around the tech visa landscape, which is the work that we're working on at the moment. It's a project that I mentioned earlier during this call to say that this is something that we're working on. We wanted to just get the feedback of the community as well to say what are some items you would like us to cover within the tech visa landscape. If there are items you think that we should cover, we would be interested in hearing from you, whether on our community. You can send us an email on eMigr8@beamcom.net, or you can also let us know in the chat to say this is something you would like to see covered as part of the tech visa landscape. If you're interested in that, we've also said that you can join the waiting list for you to get access to the reports as one of the first few people to get access to the reports. You can join the waiting list. The link is on the screen. My colleagues will send the link in the chat as well. And you can get access to the report. But then here's the question. What are some things you hope that the report will cover? I'm going to talk about some of the things that we are going to cover in the report. And then if there are things you feel like, oh, maybe you should cover this as well, do let us know as we are reaching the final stages of the project. Do let us know, and then we'll see if we can incorporate it into this edition or future editions of the tech visa landscape. We'll talk about understanding the different tech-enabled visa programs. We'll talk about key themes and some of the key topics. We'll talk about security and risk management, the visa application process for the different visa opportunities. We'll talk about being globally mobile and what does that mean really, and then also work opportunities along those lines. For different countries and different visas, we'll be looking at things like the eligibility criteria, the eligibility requirements, the process for applying for that visa, the overall cost, and hidden cost. I like this section really. Hidden cost will be costs that you may not see immediately when you check the requirements on the visa pages. You may not see to say, oh, there's this actual cost. Some people don't know, for example, if you're applying for the different UK visas, you need to pay something called the IHS fee, Immigration Health Surcharge, which is about £600 per person per year. And by the time you sum that up, that can become significant depending on how many people you're applying with and how many members of your family there are at that point. So hidden fees and hidden costs, qualification criteria, whether or not you can bring your family. For visas, because a number of visas, some of them do not have a direct pathway to settlement. For some of those visa opportunities, we will also talk about the for some of those visa opportunities, we will also talk about the pathway to settlement that you could explore for that visa opportunity as well. We'll be talking about different countries of the world across multiple continents, North America, Europe. We didn't really touch Africa. If there are countries in Africa you think we should touch, maybe you should let us know as well. Some countries in Asia, we'll be touching them as well as part of these tech-enabled visa landscape report. And so our question to the community is simple. Are there items you think that we should cover? Are there topics you would like to see covered in such a report? Do let us know. We're interested in hearing from you as we work towards releasing this project within the next couple of weeks. All right, I'll just check in the chat if we have any more questions as we bring this edition of eMigr8 Open Day to a close. Okay, fantastic. As we bring this edition of eMigr8 Open Day to a close, we still have an opportunity if anyone would like to raise their hand and come on stage. But one thing I would just say is that, and this is speaking to our 5 different audience, we try to do that at eMigr8. We have 5 key audience category within the eMigr8 community that we've we've sort of identified. There may be more, but these are 5 that we've sort of identified. If you're a beginner in the field of technology, there are opportunities for you that you can explore today. I mentioned a few of them during this call, but then many of these other opportunities are more available to you when you get to the intermediate level. What you don't want to do, however, is that you don't want to get to the intermediate level and realize you don't yet qualify. Because as you are building your skill, your experience, you should also be building your exposure so that by the time you're getting to a certain stage, you already qualify for some of the visa categories. We also say, and I will speak to the intermediate level, which is the second category, to say you already know what your profile needs to answer. They've given you the question paper and the answer sheets. What you need to do is make sure that over a period of time, your profile matches that category. What you need to do is that ensure that if they then assess your profile, you would qualify. What you shouldn't be doing is waiting till, oh, I'm already qualified, then let me go and check the category. Let me go and check the requirements. It may be a bit late then. An example is exceptional promise visa for the UK Global Talent visa, exceptional promise category. That is only available to you if you have less than 5 years of experience in the field of technology. But within that 5 years, you need to show a number of things, a number of requirements. Do you know what those requirements are? How many of them are you ticking the box off already because of the number of years you've done in the field? How many of them would you tick next month because you are strategically planning your profile, you are strategically looking for opportunities, and those opportunities will come if you are looking out for them? Have you ever noticed that because you are thinking of something, you then start seeing stuff around those things because you are focusing on it? Focus creates blindness, but then because you are focusing on something as well, you start seeing different things in the light of that stuff you are focusing on. That's for intermediate level people. Make sure you have a personalized roadmap that you are following. Have a plan, basically, is what I'm saying. We believe that within a 1 to 3 year period, you can qualify for the exceptional promise visa, even if you have not done anything at all in the past. I'm saying that from a beginner level, within a 1 to 3 year, as a beginner, within a 1 to 2 year period, you can qualify for the UK Global Talent Visa Exceptional Promise. It will be a lot of work. There's a lot of things to do, but it is very possible to achieve that in a 1 to 2 year period. But then how much more you that you've already done some things already in the field of tech? You already have some experience. You already have some things in the field of tech. How much more you? The question is, do you have that roadmap? Do you understand what the criteria is? And where are you today? And how close are you to that promised land? How close are you to that requirement? Those are things I would say to intermediate level people. For advanced level people, you probably already qualify for one visa type or the other. The only thing I would say is that don't wait till when that door has closed before you now say, oh, what are they even talking about? Take action. The action could be as simple as, oh, they talked about a particular visa opportunity. Let me even check what they are talking about. Maybe you want to take the assessment. Go online and take the assessment. We have our own assessment as well as regards different visa opportunities. You may want to take that assessment to say, oh, do I actually really qualify for this visa opportunity? But take action immediately. 2 more categories and then we'll be closing. The next category are people who are in a different country. They are a destination country, but not on a pathway to settlement. So you move to the UK, for example, on the student visa. You move to the US, for example, on the US O1 visa, not on a pathway to settlement. And then you are still exploring a pathway to settlement. You are exploring a pathway to permanent residency. For those of us that don't know what I'm speaking about, one of the advice we'll say to you is that these opportunities are also available to you, to switchers, to people who are interested in switching from one category to the other. But you still need to meet the same criteria as people who are not yet in that country of residence. So pay attention to those details as well. Pay attention to the direction, pay attention to some of the activities that you need to be doing so that you would qualify within the shortest possible time. Last category, category 5, are people who already qualify, who are currently trying to apply. And what we will say to you is that we are here to help. We have a number of free services. We have a few paid services, but we are available to help with direction, with advice, with coaching, and so on. Key thing, however, is please don't rush your application. Don't rush your application and then get rejected. Also, this is particular for the Global Talent Visa, is that please don't go and use ChatGPT. There's a lot of writing that you need to do and so on. And then you say because you're an expert in tech and there's artificial intelligence and all of that, you will use ChatGPT. That can be considered fraud. And that could earn you a ban, up to 10 years ban, particularly for the UK. It's part of the updates that has been made to the visa requirement, but there's a reason, and I'm a bit privy to that. I can't share that publicly. There's a reason why that is so, why they've updated the requirement to say, oh, please don't go and use ChatGPT and all of that. Also, if the reality is that there are things that you would need to do, but you need to be careful of some of those things that you end up doing. If you help your recommender, for example, to write a draft of the letter, make sure they own the letter. And of course, don't go and buy a template and then use multiple versions of the same letter and submit it to think the assessors are stupid. The assessors are human beings like myself, and they will assess you based on the category and the criteria. Thank you so much. We mentioned that we would have a gift if we waited till the end, and this is the gift. Normally, we are only able to accommodate one short inquiry session for free for every individual within the eMigr8 community. But because you have attended this open day or one of our previous open days to the end, you can get access to a second short inquiry session for free as well. That is the gift. The first one, you can use it, as I've mentioned earlier, to say, please do your own research before you go for that short inquiry session with one of the coaches. They are volunteering their time, and we want you to make the very best use of their time. Then you can, after you've done some more research, you've gotten direction from the coach, you may do a bit more research, you may do a bit more work, you may do a bit more compiling your application and all. And then if you get stuck again, or if you have more questions again, you can book a second short inquiry session for free on eMigr8. And that's a bonus that you're getting because you've been part of this open day to the very end. With that being said, thank you for joining us during this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. We are here to help. We are happy to help. We are here to help. And so let us help. Ask questions. Speak up. Let us know what you need. You can also give us recommendation. Let us also know if this has been helpful for you. Let us know in the chat, because part of why and how we will continue doing this is because we're getting feedback from our community to say this has been helpful. We don't track the number of people we've been able to help that don't, let us know. We know there have been a lot of them, but there are a lot more people that we've been able to help directly. Successes of this platform. It's a very young platform. We only started a couple of months back, right? Very young platform, but we have many, many successes already that we're very proud of. Some of them that have come on this platform to share their testimony. Some of them that haven't, because we don't even know about them. But our point is that do let us know if this has been helpful for you, and we are available within the community to continue the conversation. You can ask questions. Also, let your friends know. You will find out within the community that a number of people only knew about a visa opportunity or the other because somebody, one of their friends, told them to say, have you checked out this? Have you checked out this one? Have you checked out eMigr8? Please share with your community as well. Share with your ecosystem. Let them know that these opportunities exist. Let them know that the countries of the world are not doing them a favor. the countries of the world want you because you are a talent. Thank you for joining us during this edition of eMigr8.